Alright, so I want to show you how we rig up a tip up to catch pike and bass. So what we have on there, we have spooled on here. This is just standard tip up line. I think it's Dacron. And then we're going to put a fluorocarbon leader. So the leader material, we'll use Berkeley Vanish. This is 50 pound. And then tie that to a VMC swivel. These are 65 pound swivels. That's more for the size. I would get heavy duty swivels, not the cheap kind, and then big enough that you can easily tie. So 65 pounds overkill, but use it anyway. And then at the end, we just do one hook. So this is just a 1/aught treble hook. We like doing one hook because we often do catch and release, and when you have multiple hooks in the bait, it tends to you're more likely to get one deep or get one on the outside of the head. You lose a few more fish with one hook, but it'll be easier to release them. Okay, so what I do is I take the fluorocarbon, I cut off, I usually do about 18 inches of that. And then, so I'll have that. And then I'll actually start by tying a Palomar knot onto the swivel from the Dacron. I use the Palomar knot because it's pretty simple and strong. Palomars don't work terribly well for Dacron because it doesn't slide real well. Alright, so when you tie a Palomar knot with this Dacron, you want to make sure that before you tighten it down, you pull this loop that you passed over the swivel back through, because it really doesn't tighten that well. So it's kind of pull on knot. So basically you're just cinching the knot down as opposed to pulling all that slack out. Otherwise all that will be left there. And braid, it pulls out just fine. This Dacron, it doesn't. So just be aware of that. Knot works just fine. It just won't pull through. Dacron's apparently high friction or something. Okay, so now I have this Dacron from the tip up with a heavy duty swivel, and then I will tie the same knot twice. I've seen this knot called the swivel knot. So this is 50 pound fluorocarbon. It's not really going to tie very well. I guess you could crimp it, but this is a easier knot. So this knot, apparently called the swivel knot. I will show a link with a better video, but basically what I'll do, I pass it through the swivel, and then I pinch it, and I make 2 loops here. So you have 1 loop, 2 loops, and then pass it through those loops up to the front. Again, if you want to see that knot in more detail, I'll send a video where I learned to do it. Cinch it tight. This one, because the line's so stiff, it's kind of hard to work with. Often easier to use a hemostat there. That basically kind of gradually work both ends tight. Trim the slack. I usually leave a teeny bit there, but that's what that knot looks like. And then I do that knot again on the hook. So again, that is, you make 1 loop, 2 loops, go through, and tighten down. And now what you have is your line to your tip up, swivel, 50 pound fluorocarbon to a hook, and it's, I don't know, it's 14 inches at this point. The reason we use fluorocarbon is we'd previously used, pull them out, single hook wire leader, and for whatever reason bass didn't seem to like this wire leader. Pike would eat it just fine, so we tried out fluorocarbon, instead, and bass seem to like that. So for now, at least that's what we stick with. Lighter fluorocarbon, like 20-pound fluorocarbon, big pike will bite through, and wire, bass don't seem to like it. So the nice medium seems to be the 50-pound fluorocarbon. So that's how we make leaders for pike and bass, at least for now. We'll give an update if we end up changing that again. And the big thing is 50-pound fluorocarbon, and then we use single treble hook. So most quick strike rigs will have 2 treble hooks or even 3 treble hooks, and we just use that single one to kind of make releases easier. If they're hooked less, it's generally easier to get the hooks out and release them. If you're just going to kill all the fish, then probably doesn't matter. But it's just easier to dig one hook out of a very toothy mouth as opposed to 2. So, all right. Well, hope this helps you if you're into pike and bass.